Okay, in this video we're checking out these new FPV goggles from Eachine. These are the EV800DMs. The name is similar to the EV800Ds that are here on the left, but they're kind of different. I mean, there's some similarities, but there's quite a few differences. So let me just cover some of those similarities first. They both have dual diversity receivers in them, so there's two actual separate receivers in both of these. They both come with the same antennas, the patch antenna here and the circular polarized antennas, the same ones that come on the 800Ds, but I actually don't have these attached on here. Both come with a DVR. The DVRs are different. Supposedly they have updated the DVR on the newer version here so that it doesn't do like frame skipping. I think that was a complaint on the older DVR, plus the resolution is a little bit higher on the newer DVR, but the file format that this generates isn't playable in I think Windows Media Player on my computer, so you'll need something like VLC Media Player to play the files, but I think the format should be importable into most video editors. There's a lot of differences. I mean, outside the similarities, there's actually quite a few differences. So they're going with this variable focus mechanism here where the screen can be pulled away from the lens. So there's a lens here that will blow up the screen, and the screen sizes are different too. I'll show you that as well. 3 inches on the newer version here, 4x3 only, and then you have a 5-inch 4x3 16:9 switchable screen on the older version. But back to the mechanism. Here's basically it's all variable focus mechanism. So you can move the screen up, forward, and backwards, and this little rail that's on the inside here, so that if you have trouble focusing, you can supposedly adjust the focal length, and that will maybe help people with focusing on the screen. Now the opening on here is quite a bit different, much wider than on the original, as you can see here. It's actually quite a bit wider. So I know that people with glasses were doing mods on this to get their glasses in there. You don't have to do that on these new ones. Your glasses will fit in here no problem. As you can see, these are my glasses, they'll fit in here. I didn't actually need to wear my glasses to focus on the screen. I was able to just focus on the screen without wearing my glasses, so that's pretty normal for box goggles, at least for my eyes. The foam padding here is a little bit softer than on the original first version, and the way the shape is, it's a little bit wider, so it doesn't put as much pressure on your cheeks, plus it's a little bit lighter. So 345 grams for the DM and 375 grams for the original 800Ds. And another thing to note is that the where the weight is further away from your face. So you can see here how much further forward the screen is right here is where all the weight is, and the battery, you can see how much, it's almost an inch forward. So that is going to create more leverage, and that weight presses on your cheeks here. This is one of the reasons why I don't use these, because the weight is so far forward, and there's so much weight, even with the strap all the way super tight, it just puts so much pressure on my cheeks here, especially with the narrow opening. It was very uncomfortable, so I never actually used these. Now, with this being lighter and a shorter length here, it doesn't put as much pressure on my cheeks, and it's also a wider opening as well, so that thing helps a lot. And then another big difference is the lens here pops off on the first version, as you can see, with the large 5-inch screen, and you could use this with the tripod mount here as a ground station if you want, but you are not able to do that with this newer version. So as I mentioned, it does have a 5-inch screen on the older version. It's much bigger. I'll do a little demonstration of that in a second here with a video source and a camera. It's a 3-inch screen in here. Resolution is like 960 something, whatever. I don't know if I believe what those numbers are, but it's okay. I mean, you can tell that it's a smaller screen with a slightly lower resolution than This one's like 800 by 480, and this actually looks like 800 by 480, whereas this one looks like it's scaled up. So you can still see a lot of details, but it just looks a little bit fuzzier than on the original version. So something to keep in mind, and I'll show you the differences here in a second. Okay, so just to quickly show you some of the features of this goggle, got your power button here, source menu button here, channel and band button here. Pretty typical in terms of operation. You have on the bottom buttons that aren't on the other one. So you have your basically it's like a power charging jack here, and those are included here. So you get a USB to power barrel plug adapter, and then you have a AV cable here for AV in for this jack over here, and then you have a little brick here, a wall adapter to USB out for charging here. So I kind of wish they would use micro USB here for charging instead of this. This is a cable, like a proprietary cable that you could lose. If this was micro USB, then that would have been better, but yeah, they didn't do that. Then on the bottom also you got your search button here, and then your picture record button. So if you short press this button, that'll take a picture of whatever is being transmitted to the receiver, and if you long press it, I'll start it recording, and I'll demonstrate that here. Okay, so I got a video source transmitting here. I just want to give you a look at the screen, 4x3 screen here on the 800DMs, and it's okay. I mean, I'll give you a close look at here of this image, and the camera here is the Caddx Ratel, by the way. 3-inch screen, so significantly smaller than on the original 800Ds here. And this is the 5-inch screen. Brightness seems similar. You can see this is in widescreen mode here in 16:9 mode, even though the camera is transmitting in 4:3. Brightness does seem to be about the same. They say it's like 600 nits, I think, on both of them, so they seem to be about the same. But you can see the significant difference in the size of the image. So even with the lens there magnifying it, so this is the 3-inch screen, and here is the 5-inch screen, significantly larger. So I'm not exactly sure what the field of view is, but it's much wider on the original 800Ds and quite a bit narrower on the newer 800DMs. Now, of course, if you don't like the super wide field of view of the original 800Ds, then you might like the smaller field of view of the 800DMs, or vice versa. So you can kind of pick and choose which one is better for you. But yeah, again, looking at the image here, it's a pretty big difference. So I personally prefer smaller field of views just because I don't like looking around. That's one of the reasons why I don't like box goggles. Is it's such a wide field of view that your eyes are moving all over the place just to fly, and it's distracting. But some people like that. If you're just flying really slow and cinematically, then you get a nice image. You might prefer this image better. Now, in terms of the reception of the receivers, I think they're pretty similar. It's hard to say, like, in terms of like how it would compare to, say, something like much more expensive, like a rapid fire. It's kind of not really in the same ballpark. Yeah, this is going to be fine for beginners. People fly close to you, nearby, and not too far away. It's going to be totally okay for those kind of purposes. But if you're looking for like long range, flying far away, or in some sketchy areas with a lot of RF interference, then yeah, it's going to have the same sort of issues as the original 800Ds. The receivers are okay. This is a standard dual diversity receiver, but in terms of like it being like killer reception and being able to like fly in sketchy places, yeah, this is not going to be it for you. You're going to have to probably go and spend the $700 on an HDO and rapid fire to get that kind of reception, that kind of quality. Okay, so one more important difference between the two here is the battery. You get a much larger battery on the newer versions, 2,000 milliamp hours, 2S I believe, and on the older version it's like 1,200 milliamp hours. So you're going to get much longer runtime on the newer version versus the older version. So I think that pretty much covers all the similarities and differences, and obviously the names kind of, they're basically borrowing the name. It's kind of similar, but I think these are pretty different products. I think they're trying to sort of address some of the issues with the focal length on this product versus the original, and also allowing glasses to be used. I think they kind of made this newer product based on some of the feedback on the older product, but I think they're going to continue to sell both of them. So it kind of gives you an option as to like which features are more important to you, and you can kind of make your decision based on what you've seen in this video. Anyway, so that's going to do it for this video. If you're interested in checking out the newer 800 DMs, I'll put a link down in the description. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.